Jennylyn, how are you?
John,
So nice to see you.
it's
Does that
been
sound really fake?
it's been a long time, and I have to tell you, the gap between us has
So healthy.
been the best time of
I
my
know.
life.
Me too.
And I was thinking, do I really want to do this again?
I was thinking the same
Oh,
thing.
stop.
I'm only here because you
Stop,
pressured me.
Stop. Jonathan, I did everything I could to discontinue
Yeah,
this.
okay. I am
If it weren't for the
contractually
people-
obligated to be here. So I follow through on my obligations. As much as I tried to get out of I sent the contract to my lawyer trying to get out of this. It's ironclad. You locked me in. There was nothing I could do. I tried, believe me.
Well, all I can tell you is I am here tonight because I am not a runner. And when something annoys me, I embrace it because I overcome all the challenges and annoyances in my life.
Right.
And it's too soon to throw the towel in on this. So I decided to give it another shot.
I guess that's why I'm here too. Either one of us are quitters. It's gonna be the last man standing. We'll see who quits first.
Okay.
Speaking of which, what segment are we even up to?
And you are watching How Can You Say That? And in case you're wondering, we have not discontinued the show. Both John and I have been extremely busy with the holidays and everything.
Segment number.
And we are very happy to be back with segment number 29. And we want to wish you all a happy new year, although 1 month of it is already gone. Hopefully it's been a good one for you so far.
Isn't it crazy how the first month is gone already? The year just flies by. It's crazy. Really, absolutely crazy. So how have you been the last 6 weeks or 7 weeks since our last appearance?
Happy.
Anything new, exciting in your
Very
life?
happy you weren't around. Please help me to maintain status quo and please don't.
You know, I wish that
The
I had.
trajectory of my life has been to continue what I'm enjoying. So please help me to do that and not come back here with baggage.
I really wish that during the day I wore a body camera so I can record our interactions during the day. How you begged me, please don't leave me by myself on the show. I need you. Without you, I have nothing. I am nobody. All I am is a Zoom girl. They're begging me. So out of compassion, I came back. However, I don't trust the way.
When you woke up from that dream, where were you? On the bed or under? Because it sounds like you're having
I banged my head really hard. So, by the way, I don't trust the way they wash the cups in the studio. So when I drink my water, although I love our "How Can You Say That" cup with our pictures on there, I'm just gonna drink out of my my bottle.
So most of you must have gathered from previous podcasts that John lives in a little Jewish bubble that has to have a dishwasher for food before it's cooked and food after it's cooked. And I would like to call myself normal.
A dishwasher
So
before?
when you run the food through the dishwasher and the heater comes on, whether you eat meat
That's
or
called
you
an
don't
oven.
eat meat,
The
the
dishwasher.
dishwasher will clean the dishes. Anyway, John has a dishwasher for forks before they eat and forks after they eat. And dishes before you put meat on them and after, and you know what? It's too confusing for me to go down.
It's so confusing. You don't even understand it.
Can we stick to the topic?
Yes. What is the topic, by the way? What are we talking about? You
Um,
failed to notify me.
John and I decided that tonight's podcast, the topics, we've covered some of it briefly last year in previous segments, and I'm sorry I don't remember exactly the numbers. But what we discussed is mainstream media and how they're trying to silence people who are bringing the news, not the narrative.
The truth.
The news.
Which is the truth.
The news. And not the narrative that they use to scare and control the masses. We decided tonight we would talk about Tucker Carlson, who was a Fox reporter, and I do not watch Fox, although one of the first, actually, I've had two people on my show that work for the Fox network. So shame on me that I don't watch Fox. But I've also interviewed an NBC reporter, but he's in Pakistan. So in honesty,
NBC's not Fox though. NBC's.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But if you didn't interrupt, I'd make my point.
Sorry.
I'm gonna hand the
I'm rusty.
stage over
It's
to
been
you.
like 7 weeks. I'm rusty. I
Just
apologize.
stop interrupting. That's your middle
That
name.
too.
But anyway, the point I'm making is I don't really watch Fox, but a few times I glanced that I could not stand Tucker. And it's because he was reporting the narrative, the scripted narrative, not the news. But now, since he's been fired or he quit, or I love him because he is bringing the news. And so tonight we wanted to talk about Tucker. And before I have John tell us, put in his 2 cents, I just wanted to also draw a parallel, which is Russell Brand and how they tried everything under the sun to silence Russell and to cancel him. And how they went and dug up his past and tried to pay people because it was published. The women, some of them who came forward, said they were paid, and some said they refused to participate, didn't accept the money. But they did not fail to cancel Russell. He is still going and is bringing the news.
No, you mean they did fail to cancel him?
Yeah, they failed to cancel
Fail.
him.
So they did not fail. Right.
Sorry, they did not cancel him because I listened to an interview that he did with Tucker, where he said that Tucker asked him, "Did you ever feel like giving up?" And it made me very sad when he reported what was going on in his life during this ugliness that they put him through while they were trying to bring him down, because they displayed a scandalous past, as we all know of, that he never denies. But he said he never
Actually, he openly talked about it.
He said he never arred anybody. Everybody who, but we can't say that word because I'll pull it down.
Can you spell it?
The latest.
Can you spell it? You can spell it.
Go spell it.
RAPE.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. E. Oh, RAPED.
Right.
As in past tense.
Right. He said he never did that, that everyone who had gone to bed with him consented. But we weren't there. It's none of our business.
Same with me.
Yeah,
in case that ever comes up.
The thing is, you can't beat a person up for their past. Everyone has a past. We never turned the timer on. Anyway, one of the things he shared that made me very sad as I listened to what he was saying is during the time that they were doing this to him, his child was born, and the child was born with a heart defect. So his brand new baby was undergoing surgery while they were doing this.
As they're raking him over the coals,
right,
torturing him.
Right. And so Tucker asked him, "Did you ever feel like it's not worth it because you're putting your family in danger?" And he said it just made him realize that he had to keep going because they've silenced so many others. They were either taken out or they were canceled. And we know Hollywood is full of canceled people, and you have to wonder why. And you have to wonder why so many drowned in their own hot tub, or
or fall out windows, or like in Russia, all of a sudden all of Putin's enemies, they have these horrible accidents. No one can be sturdy on their feet anymore. They fall out windows, they fall down steps, odd fluke accidents, miraculously just the ones that criticize them. It's crazy.
Exactly.
You know what I've been wondering?
What?
Since our last show, it appears as I look at myself on camera that I've got really fat.
Yes, I was noticing today that you reminded me of myself when I was in the 6th month of my pregnancy. And I'm like, I should bring my maternity clothes for John, at least my tops he can wear.
Are we doing an insult show? Is that what we're going to do? Because now is it my turn? Or is it my turn, fat ass? Wait, I'm sorry. Is it my turn?
If I remember well, you raised the topic of your size, and all I'm doing.
You're supposed to say no. What are you talking about? You look great. You're so slim.
Okay, John.
How about building my ego? I'm very fragile.
Wait.
I'm fragile.
Okay, can I tell the truth now?
Yeah.
I thought you lost so much weight. You almost look malnourished.
Right? That's what I was thinking. Thank you. I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. Okay, let's talk a little bit deeper about some of the things you were talking about, because So I was a very big Fox News watcher. Actually, let me go back a few years
You
before.
said was?
Yeah, I'll get into. I'll explain to you why. Before Donald Trump came into politics, I actually used to watch almost exclusively CNN. And it's not that I believed anything I watched on CNN, because you could clearly see that it's jaded and twisted and skewed into what they want you to believe. I mean, anyone with a half a brain could see that. MSNBC is even worse. But I used to watch, I just couldn't watch MSNBC. When I saw Rachel Maddow, I wanted to throw up. I can't stand her. So CNN, I would watch and I'd listen with half an ear just to get a basic idea of what's happening and draw my own conclusions. Once Trump came into politics and CNN was just totally trashing him, I said, you know what, let me get another perspective on this, because I happen to have been a big fan of Donald Trump. And then I started watching Fox, who was also a huge proponent of Donald Trump and actually reported the truth on Trump and what his policies were and what he did and what he said. And they would actually air his speeches. No. Yeah, go ahead.
All of the news that comes out of mainstream media, John, you can't say the real news. Trust me, it's all scripted.
But when you hear,
that do my
I understand, but when you have Trump on Fox giving an interview, or you have him broadcasting his speeches or his rallies, you're hearing it straight from the person.
Right.
That's not twisted. Anyway, so one of the people I used to watch very religiously, Hannity, and I used to watch Tucker Carlson. Hannity I looked at as more of an entertainer than a newscaster. It was okay. He got a nice perspective, but I just didn't like his presentation. It was too much entertainment. And I started watching Tucker, and what I realized about Tucker is this man is absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. Yes. Off the charts brilliant. His analysis of situations is so spot on. He makes you think of things that really never would have even come into your mind. He puts the pieces together to create the truth about what actually happened and what the situation is, and his opinion. It's just, he really does such a great job. So what happened was I used to watch him literally every night. And then when he was fired, I literally stopped watching Fox.
I'm happy to hear that.
What I did is I switched back to CNN, only because I love getting angry, and CNN infuriates me when I watch it.
So, you love getting angry.
I love getting.
There was something.
No, because it causes me to backlash against mainstream media, which I also, just like you, have no faith in, and I don't believe it's actually news. I believe it's just a mind. Am I allowed to say the word? Am I allowed to say that? Like a mind? Yeah. Okay, I won't say it. Okay, where they just try to manipulate you into thinking that, like, towing the company line. So Tucker Carlson, once he started really going off on his own and coming into his own, I think that had Fox's attention. And the only reason they didn't get rid of him earlier was because of the massive audience that he had. It was like the most watched show.
Yes, he was the most popular journalist.
I just said that, yes.
And one of the things that I have to admit is that I have not watched any mainstream media for over a year. I go to the sources where I know that they're bringing us the truth and not the scripted version of the news.
Well, I don't know. I've watched a lot of those videos you send on TikTok. I don't know if those are the truth. Those are opinions also.
I send you are just to irritate you, because you said you like to be mad, so I send you.
You're doing a fine job at that, by the way.
That will make you mad.
Oh, really good job.
But that's not where I get my news. And so I happen to know that every single thing that, well, not every, most of what cAn reported on mainstream media is designed to keep us in fear, to keep us in support of things that are going on that are not honest, that are not true. There's an agenda behind it. And with Tucker, so one of the questions I asked one of the reporters that I interviewed from Fox was, how do you feel about what you report on the news? Because a lot of times, what you're reporting is erroneous. And I know, because I'm a journalist who does my homework. I check many different sources for my news. And she said, whether we agree or disagree, we are getting paid to say what we are saying. And scripts are actually prepared and given to them to report. And I remember when I first started in television.
Would they give them an actual script or like a basic framework?
There's a
They're
script.
reading off a teleprompter word
I
for
don't know
word?
if they're reading or if they have to read it before they go on the set. I don't know how it's done, but I'm told scripts are prepared. And this is why the news will have a completely different slant, depending on who you're watching. But I just remembered when I first started television, somebody asked me why didn't I apply to one of the bigger networks? Because I'm so passionate about, going to get news or reporting news and keeping people informed and aware of what's happening in the world. And I remember saying this. And when I said it, I was unaware of what was really, of all the propaganda that we were being fed. And so I remember saying, no, I don't want to be in
lackey.
ABC. I don't want to report for a network. I want to tell my story. When I'm reporting facts, I want to make sure I have gone to the source and what I'm reporting has been checked and there's no spin. It's the news. And so here's the thing that I questioned a long time ago. Why is it if you watch CNN or if you watch ABC or if you watch NBC, it's the same story with a complete opposite slant? You can't do that with news. If I am bringing you...
Well, because a lot of it's editorials. It's not actually, they're trying to manipulate you into thinking something. So it's an editorial. Yeah.
So if I went...
Do you remember Walter Cronkite?
Yes.
He would report the news. Old-time newscasters like that would actually report the news without spinning it.
How do you know? You don't understand. It's a network that you're working for. If you're working for me and I'm paying you...
Because they never used to show bias in their reporting. Now there's a clear bias. When you listen to like Wolf Blitzer or these people, you could tell.
Was always there. It wasn't as blatant. And the reason why
they didn't really express it.
I think the reason why we didn't realize that it was propaganda is because we didn't have access to the World Wide Web as we do now.
No access.
So that people where the incident is happening is reporting it. So they're telling us.
So it's like unfiltered.
People who are on the ground
unfiltered
in the moment are reporting it, and it's a huge visible contrast. Hello? So
well, that's why mainstream media in many cases is opposed to internet stuff and YouTube and all these.
This is why they got rid of Tucker. And this is why they're trying to shut down TikTok.
Well,
because TikTok was not as heavily a censored platform, although they're censoring
censored
really
in different ways
now, that we didn't have. So here's what they want to do.
It's censored a lot by what the Chinese want the American public to see.
John, you're way off with that. It has nothing to do, well, maybe a degree of that, but it's not, most of it is not.
Well, if you look at TikTok in China versus TikTok in America, their criteria for what they're allowed to.
Gone to China?
No, I don't have to go. I've watched interviews with people, Chinese people, talking about what is filtered out on TikTok in China versus what they allow in America. It's a totally different platform for what's permissible and not permissible.
Well,
TikTok was, as far as the Chinese government's concerned, they like to sow discourse in American society and twist the minds of young people and manipulate the minds of young people. They don't allow that in China. They do that here.
First of all, John, I've been to China many times. And in China, you don't have any access to Google. And it is true that they control what their people see, right? But the thing is, the whole narrative you're hearing about TikTok, and I know you're afraid to go on TikTok. To me, that's your loss, because on TikTok, I've learned so much. And I believe, and this is my personal opinion, based on someone who spends a lot of time on TikTok, because a lot of spiritual people are on there, and I follow them because they're credible and they have the facts to show what they're saying. So it's not somebody telling us something that they think we want to hear. And I was making a really good point about mainstream when you interrupted me and I lost the point. But anyway, one thing I can tell you is that one of the reasons they want to shut down TikTok is because it's not as heavily censored, and some of what they will never tell us on mainstream media, people are telling on TikTok. And because TikTok is getting pressure from the powers that be that are behind the narrative that we are fed to keep us scared, to keep us controlled, They're putting pressure on them. Now they're trying to shut them down. Not everybody, not all Americans are foolish. There's a large percentage of us who know what you're doing. And there are too many of us now that you've lost. It's not the powers that be, it's the powers that were. Because they're collapsing because too many people are awake, too many people see the truth, and it's coming out every which way. Like, I am so excited about the changes that are to come. And so the whole point of Tucker, sorry, I don't want to manipulate this interview, but I've done so much homework for it, and I know you didn't because you told me.
None.
Well, you'll just add to what I'm saying. But if you look at Tucker now, the reason they fired him is he started to go down this rabbit hole he's on now. He started to bring the truth because not everybody can be bought. And he was getting paid to report the news, and he was reporting the news. He did a story. Maybe you know more about this than I do, John. I did some research about it, the Russia Gate. They started to write his back since the Russia Gate, right? Because
Trump?
yeah, the whole thing with Trump and
You mean the
Ukrainian
fictitious thing with Trump that never happened with Russia, but okay.
So I thought that tonight it would be a good idea for us to talk about him because I want to bring more attention to him. People, please watch Tucker Carlson.
He's on Twitter.
He's on YouTube.
Or X, Twitter.
He's on Twitter. He's on TikTok. Go watch him. If you're interested in what's going on in the world, please go follow him there because these people are bringing you information to protect yourself.
But you also get a perspective of him that's very insightful and brilliant and really makes you think about things in a very different light. And I think that's very important.
And he's radical, because the thing is they can't shut those up.
But you know what it is?
They can't shut this up.
Really what it is when you think about it, not just Tucker Carlson, but the whole media narrative against like what reality is. It's almost good versus evil when you think about it.
It's always about that, and money and power.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, money and power is one thing, but it's good versus evil because if you listen to mainstream media, mainstream media. And don't start writing me about this because I know I was talking about liberal versus conservative, but mainstream media tends to be a lot more liberal. Excuse me. And in that liberalism, they push things on the public that are very offensive to a lot of people, whether it's the accepting of transgender. I don't want to go into a thing where I'm arguing with you, but I'm just saying they try, whether it's morality, whether it's ethic, from every different perspective, they try to take you down a path of things that are not good. And when people come out and fight back against it or rebel against it or turn against it, they paint them as, this phobe or that phobe, and we talked about that before, and they try to demonize them and they try to rid themselves of them like a cancer, try to cut them off and get rid of them. So good versus evil. Good is good, evil is evil. And the mainstream media really is trying to turn society in a much more evil way, whether it's against religion or against ethics or against morality. And it's horrible to watch, but that is the liberal perspective. And they don't look at, it's like facts and fiction. The liberal narrative in many cases is fiction. They don't want to listen to facts. They don't want to hear truth. You can't argue with a liberal because they never change their mind and they just try to write you off as someone that's evil, so I don't have to listen to anything you say. There are certain just facts and then there's fiction. And Tucker Carlson and those right-wing people who they call like conspiracy theory people, but they're not. They're people that are actually interested in facts and truth, not fiction and evil.
Well, what he tried to do, he tried to stop the narrative control because mainstream media is controlling the narrative. And a lot of their goal is to keep Americans afraid. So what they do is they create...
They need to control them. Yeah.
John, stop.
I'm agreeing with
you. When you interrupt, I lose the point I'm making. What they do is they'll create a scenario, like they'll say, oh, they bombed our towers. So now we need to go and start a war with them. When in truth and in fact, go do your homework, they're behind all of it. So they set up a scenario to get us all riled up, like, how dare you come in and do blah, blah, blah to us? And now, yeah, we need to go get them. And then we go and we start these unnecessary wars that are really.
So who are you suggesting is behind the blowing up of the Twin Towers?
I'm not going down that rabbit hole, John. Go do
You
your
mentioned
homework.
it.
Go do your homework, people.
You don't believe it was 19 Saudi hijackers?
Anyway, can I continue with what I'm saying?
Sure.
So the reason that Tucker was taken out is because he was going against narrative control and he was telling the truth. And right now, there are more Democrats watching Tucker than are watching Rachel Maddow.
So
And this is because people are waking up to what's gone on for generations.
so they actually did a disservice
Exactly.
because it's actually getting more attention from a broader audience now. It defeated the purpose of getting rid of them. You get rid of someone because you want to silence them and you don't want them to be heard. But now he has a larger audience with a different demographic and a wider demographic and more people listen.
For them to tell us the truth.
So what does that tell you? It tells you can't shut down the truth.
No, now you can't. They were doing it. How many people
I'm
have
saying
been
now
canceled?
with the
How
internet,
many
you cannot
people
shut down the
have
truth.
silenced? How many people have they killed? But now they can't because they failed to silence Russell. They failed to silence Tucker, and there are many, many, many people that they keep shutting down. That they keep shutting down on TikTok, on any time someone is being canceled, that's who you want to follow. Because that's who's telling the truth, and that's why they're shutting them down. And this is how I get my news.
They never shut down.
If I see them canceling a person over and over and over, I know to go listen to that person and then get the nuggets from them and go do your homework.
But what's the one
And
common
you'll
theme?
find out there the people telling us the truth.
What's the one common theme of people that get shut down?
They're telling the truth.
And they are mostly what? Right-wing conservatives.
No.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you don't even,
Name one liberal that was silenced and taken
John,
out.
I don't
None.
watch people who are liberals or them. It's not about that.
Well, but I'm saying it is.
You know what you're speaking like? The guy who lives in the fishbowl. Stay there, and this is always going to be your perspective. It's not
It's
about
just the
liberal,
truth.
it's not about.
I didn't say it's
left or-
about that. I said the people that are shut down or canceled are always the right-wing conservatives.
It's not true.
So name a one left-wing person that was silenced and canceled.
Stop.
Give me one.
Stop.
Give me one.
Stop.
Give me one. There is none.
I'm not going to answer that.
There isn't
because
any.
where I get my news, it's not about liberal and Democrats. They're all one. They're all working together to bring the truth to the table. But you refuse to go and look at these and look outside of your fishbowl. So stay there and you will see that. But eventually, the truth will be right before your eyes.
But I'm agreeing with you.
No, but John, you have this habit of, oh, it's not a Jew, or it's a Jew, or it's not a Democrat, or it's a Democrat.
I didn't say the
You
word
got
Jew.
Look beyond these.
I'm making an
things.
observation that the canceled people and the people that they write off all the time happen to be right-wing conservatives. all the
Not
time.
always.
Yeah.
You don't.
So name me one left-wing person that they did it to that canceled.
Are you on Twitter
It's gonna do that.
or X?
Name a
Are you
left-wing
on-
liberal that got canceled.
Listen to me. I don't even pay attention to that, so I can't name
I'm
them.
pointing it out to you.
Look,
You can't name because they don't
If
exist.
you're left wing or right wing, I don't care which wing you're on, because to me, the left and the right are the wings of the same bird. You get it, John? They're wings of the same bird.
Okay.
Please start looking
Yeah.
outside of your bowl, your little fish bowl, because.
You know what's nice about a fishbowl, by the way? It's all glass. You can see out of it. You're making it sound like my vision is obscured because
No.
I'm in a fishbowl.
Your
Fishbowl is
fish-
fully transparent
No.
glass.
Your fishbowl is not glass. Your fishbowl is very opaque white plastic.
Well, that's mean to the
But will you
fish.
please come out of it, because outside of it is a whole world of news that you need to.
Why don't you use a
access.
fishing rod to get me out?
No, because I'm not
Throw
responsible.
some bait in.
I'm not responsible for getting you the truth, because last I checked, you are not 25 or even 21.
At least you didn't say fat.
We already had that discussion earlier, and I told a lie you wanted me to pacify you, in case you forgot. All
Thank
right.
you for pacifying me.
Yeah, I do that with my friends when they need
Are
pacification.
you admitting that I'm a friend?
Sometimes.
I'll take it.
So I'm so passionate about this. Oh, thank you for watching segment 28
Part one.
and part 1.
Do part 2.
We are so happy to be back doing this. I have missed this banter, and I love that John is so out there. I'm trying to pull him in. And we'll be back.
You love me. Oh, it's so cute how much you love me.
We'll be back with part 2 soon.
Maybe.
And thank you for watching How Can You Say That? The podcast where we are raw, passionate, and authentic. And we'll be back soon. Bye.
Good night.